Chosen ones. There are moments in life when we pray with trembling hands, not because we lack love for God, but because we're worn down by the weight of waiting. We whisper prayers through tears, asking not for riches or rewards, but simply for strength to make it through one more day. Lord, just give me a little peace, just one open door, just enough to survive this storm. And yet, even in those quiet, desperate moments, something holy happens. Heaven leans in, not just to listen, but to respond in a way that surpasses the limits of our faith and imagination. What if I told you that those small prayers, barely held together by your strength, were met by a God who doesn't answer based on your weakness, but according to His abundance? What if I told you that what is coming to you today, yes, today, is not a reflection of how eloquent your request was, but of how extravagant your Father is? You asked for peace, and He's releasing purpose. You asked for survival, and He's giving you revival. You asked for a glimpse, and He's opening the heavens. Heaven didn't just hear your prayer. Heaven multiplied it. And that's why what's about to be released will shock you. It will not look like what you prayed for. It will look like what only God could dream up. It will stretch your understanding. It will leave you speechless. Because God didn't answer based on what you thought was possible. He answered based on what He knew was destined for you. So don't be surprised when the blessing arrives wearing the robe of glory, when the favor overtakes you like a flood, when your life suddenly shifts into divine acceleration. What's coming is greater, and that's why it will blow your mind. Before we go any further, if this message is stirring something deep within you, take a moment to like this video. If you felt God drawing you closer in this season, hit subscribe and stay connected. And don't stay silent. Drop your city and your local time in the comments. Let's watch the remnant rise from every corner of the earth. To every faithful giver using the link pinned in the comment section or Super Thanks feature, your offering is more than generosity, it's spiritual agreement. You're not just sowing money, you're sowing surrender. You're saying, God, I align with your will. And because of that, expect the covering of heaven, supernatural clarity, and the strength to walk boldly through whatever comes next. Now let's go deeper. Now unto Him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that works in us. Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20. God is not limited by the size of your prayer. Let that sink in. Your words may be quiet, your faith may feel fragile, and your request may seem small in the grand scheme of life. But God is not measuring your request by its volume. He is measuring it by His own capacity. You asked for peace. He's preparing purpose. You asked for a door. He's designing a destiny. When you knelt with trembling hope, God stood with unstoppable power. Here's the truth. God doesn't just answer prayers, He outperforms them. Hannah asked for a son to end her pain, but God gave her a prophet who would carry His voice. The widow of Zarephath begged for one last meal, but God gave her an endless supply. Over and over again, the Bible shows us this pattern. Humans ask in limitation, but God responds in abundance. What you thought was the end of the story is actually the beginning of a legacy. So don't underestimate what happens when you pray. You are releasing a ripple in the spirit that heaven intends to turn into a wave. You may be asking for provision, but God is planning promotion. You may be praying for strength, but God is orchestrating significance. You are praying for something specific, but God is about to shock you with something strategic. Expect overflow, expect multiplication, expect God. Enlarge the place of thy tent, and let them stretch forth the curtains of thine habitations. Spare not, lengthen thy cords, and strengthen thy stakes. Isaiah chapter 54, verse 2. Chosen one, hear me clearly. If God were to pour out today what He truly desires to give you, your current faith might not be able to hold it. That's why the stretching hurts. That's why the waiting feels like pressure. God is not being cruel. He's being careful. He's expanding your soul to match the weight of the glory He's preparing to place on your life. Every delay has been construction. Every detour has been divine design. You're not being buried. You're being built. You've been asking, why hasn't it come yet? Because God was making room in you for the size of what He's bringing. You asked for peace. He's laying the foundation for purpose. You cried for healing. He's crafting wholeness. You hoped for a door. He's designing an entire palace. But here's the revelation. What you thought was a no was actually a not yet. And what looked like rejection was really redirection toward something greater. You were praying for a moment, but God was preparing a movement. So brace yourself, because the tent is about to stretch, and so is your spirit. Your container must match your capacity. You cannot hold a gallon of glory in a teaspoon of faith. That's why God is enlarging your vision, confronting your comfort zone, and shaking you loose from small thinking. The breakthrough that's coming will not fit into yesterday's mindset. God is stretching you now so that you won't break later. What's coming will shock you, and this time you'll be ready to carry it. Sometimes the blessing comes disguised. Eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man, the things which God hath prepared for them that love Him. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 9. God's answers don't always come in the wrapping paper you expected. You may be looking for the open door, and He sends a closed one that forces you to grow. You may be expecting instant relief, and He sends a season of quiet that teaches you trust. The delivery may not look like the desire, but that doesn't mean God hasn't heard you. Joseph prayed for freedom and found himself in a prison before the palace. The Israelites prayed for deliverance and found themselves walking through a dry and lonely wilderness before stepping into Canaan. Even our Savior was born in obscurity, not with royal trumpets, but with straw and silence. The pattern is clear. God's biggest blessings often show up dressed as detours. What feels like delay may actually be divine design. What looks like a mistake may be the setup for a miracle. Sometimes the miracle is hidden in the mundane. Sometimes the favor is wrapped in frustration. And if you're not careful, you'll rebuke the very process that's carrying your breakthrough. God knows how to answer your prayers in ways that protect you, prepare you, and position you, even when it doesn't match your imagination. So don't curse the process. Don't reject the packaging. What you're walking through right now might not feel holy, but it's part of something heavenly. That painful conversation, that closed door, that uncomfortable season. It might just be the very vehicle God is using to transport your destiny. Open your eyes. Watch for Him in the unexpected. Because sometimes the blessing comes hidden, and only those with spiritual eyes will recognize it for what it truly is. A miracle in disguise. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it? Isaiah chapter 43, verse 19. There's a moment before birth when the pain becomes unbearable, the pressure intensifies, the body shakes, and everything feels like it's about to break. But that's not the end. It's the beginning. That pain is proof that delivery is near. Chosen one, the warfare you've been feeling. It's not a signal to retreat. It's confirmation that something divine is being born through you. The pressure you're under is not punishment. It's prophetic positioning. The closer you get to the breakthrough, the louder the contractions of life will scream. But hold on, because the new thing is about to emerge. You've been stretched because what God is birthing in your life is too big for the space you've been living in. This isn't just about a new job, a healed relationship, or a breakthrough moment. This is about a divine shift in who you are becoming. God is not merely answering your prayer, He's fulfilling prophecy. You thought you were asking for rescue, but heaven heard the cry of a warrior rising. You thought you were begging for peace, but God was preparing you for purpose. This isn't survival. This is expansion. This is transformation. This is elevation. So don't shrink back. Don't mislabel this pain. What's coming is about to embarrass every doubt that whispered, "It's too late." What's crowning in your life will silence every fear that said, "You're not enough." The blessing will speak for itself. The favor will make the room. And when it breaks forth, you'll understand why it had to hurt so much. Because what God is doing in you is not small. It's sacred, it's supernatural, and it's coming now. The Lord whom ye seek shall suddenly come to his temple. Malachi chapter 3, verse 1. God moves suddenly, but not randomly. His divine interruptions are never accidents, they are appointments. And chosen one, the word for you today is urgent. Prepare. This is not just another ordinary moment. Heaven is aligning something supernatural with your timeline. You don't need to strive. You don't need to fear. You just need to position yourself, position your faith, position your focus, position your spirit, because today God is moving in a way that will redefine everything. Lift your eyes above what you see. Raise your expectation higher than what you feel. Align your heart with heaven's rhythm, because when God moves suddenly, it's not to impress, it's to transform. You've been in a season of quiet, but the silence is breaking. You've been feeling stuck, but the shift is here. The delay wasn't denial, it was divine choreography, and now the sound of movement is stirring in the spirit. You're not being overlooked, you're being summoned, because what's coming today will shock you. You asked for a breakthrough, but God is sending a wave that will wash away every limit. You looked for a crack in the wall, and God is opening the entire heavens. You prayed for just enough, and God responded with more than enough, not by accident, not by chance, but by design. This is your suddenly, and it's already in motion. If you've been waiting for a long time, don't despair. Delay does not mean denial. Silence does not mean absence. God has not forgotten your name, your prayers, or your pain. He bottles every tear. He hears every whispered cry in the dark. And though it feels like nothing is moving, heaven is still on assignment. The waiting room is not a punishment, it's preparation. God is not withholding, He's weaving. And every moment you've endured is being used to build something eternal. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3. There is a divine timeline, and your name is on it. God doesn't run late. He doesn't forget appointments. While you're watching the clock, He's watching your heart. The vision has an appointed time, and when that time comes, not even hell itself can delay it. Don't measure your future by what you haven't seen. Measure it by what God has promised. Because what God spoke is already written in eternal ink, and nothing can erase it. Just because you don't see it yet doesn't mean it isn't coming. What's on the way is already in motion, and when it arrives, it will crash into your life with clarity, beauty, and power. You'll realize why it took so long. You'll see that what God was building behind the scenes was far greater than what you imagined when you first prayed. Bigger, better, more beautiful. You weren't waiting in vain. You were waiting for glory. Chosen one, I speak this over your life with boldness and divine assurance. You're about to walk into something that eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard, and hearts haven't even imagined. This isn't just another opportunity. It's a supernatural release. A blessing so specific, so strategic, so powerful that it will feel unreal. But it is real because heaven has placed its seal of approval on it. You didn't earn it. You didn't manipulate it. You were positioned for it. And now the fullness of time has arrived. You've cried in silence. You've prayed with trembling hope. You've endured seasons that nearly broke you, but you never let go of God. And because you held on, you're about to see what holding on was really for. This isn't a random blessing. It's a prophetic fulfillment. God is not just answering your request. He is exceeding it. And it's coming with such weight, such clarity, such glory, that it will mark a shift in your life you'll never forget. So prepare your spirit, because what's coming today will do more than bless you. It will transform you. It will expand your faith to new dimensions. It will elevate your name to places you didn't know you qualified for. It will shock every enemy who said you were finished. And it will silence every lie the devil whispered while you waited. Get ready, chosen one, because today, heaven is proving that the wait was never wasted. Final word to the chosen ones. This message wasn't sent to everyone. It was sent to you, because you are chosen, handpicked by heaven, set apart before time began. You've been through things that others didn't see, cried prayers they wouldn't understand, and held on to faith when it would have been easier to let go. But all of that wasn't in vain. It was divine training. Because the chosen don't just receive blessings, they receive glory-shaking, heaven-sent, destiny-shifting blessings that mark a life forever. What's coming to you isn't ordinary, it's prophetic. It carries weight, it carries power, and it carries the fingerprints of God Himself. So lift your hands in surrender. Lift your faith above your feelings. Heaven is moving even now, aligning things behind the scenes. Doors are being opened that no man can shut. Delays are being reversed. Cycles are being broken. You may not feel it yet, but the atmosphere has shifted. What you've been praying for, hoping for, fasting for, is not only coming, but it's coming in a way that exceeds what your human mind could predict. This isn't just restoration, it's elevation. This isn't just recovery, it's recompense. Because something bigger than what you prayed for is coming today, and when it hits, your knees will buckle under the weight of glory. Your spirit will leap, your mouth will open in awe, and your only response will be the one that echoes through every true miracle. Only God could have done this, and you'll be right, because no man could have arranged this. No human could have orchestrated what's about to unfold. This is divine, this is holy, this is God.